Ever pondered why, despite his boundless love, God might opt not to save certain people? This intriguing inquiry unveils a vast landscape of divine love and the intricate dynamics of salvation. Dive into our exploration today, where we unravel 9 pivotal barriers that could stand in the way of achieving spiritual redemption. The notion that belief is central to salvation is not merely about acknowledging God's existence. It's about an active, living faith that transforms how we live, think, and relate to others and the divine. This belief is not a passive state, but a dynamic and ongoing relationship with God, marked by trust, obedience, and commitment. It's an acceptance of God's sovereignty, a willingness to submit to His will, and an open-hearted embrace of His guidance in every aspect of life. Why, then, does belief hold such weight in the economy of salvation? It's because at the core of belief is the relationship between the individual and the divine, a two-way connection that's as much about receiving God's love and grace as it is about actively participating in the life He offers. This participation is characterized by more than just intellectual assent. It's a transformation that permeates the believer's being, inspiring a life that reflects God's love, mercy, and righteousness. The absence of belief, therefore, isn't just a matter of rejecting a set of doctrines. It's a rejection of this relationship and, by extension, the transformation it brings. Without this foundational relationship, the pathway to salvation, understood as a restoration of the right relationship with God, culminating in eternal life with Him, is obstructed. It's not that God's love is insufficient or His mercy limited. Rather, it's the individual's unwillingness to enter into the relationship that salvation necessitates. This perspective sheds light on the intricate dynamics of salvation, where divine love and human response intersect. It challenges us to reconsider our understanding of belief, not as a minimal requirement or a simple acknowledgement of God's existence, but as an invitation to a profound and life-changing relationship with the Creator. In this light, the question of why some are not saved, despite God's boundless love, becomes a question of relationship, of opening ourselves to the transformative power of faith and living in accordance with that faith. Continuing from the exploration of belief and its pivotal role in the dynamics of salvation, we encounter the stark contrast presented by hypocrisy. Hypocrisy, in the spiritual context, is not just a minor flaw. It represents a profound disconnection between outward appearances and the inner reality of one's faith and actions. This dissonance strikes at the heart of what it means to live a life aligned with divine principles and teachings. Hypocrisy manifests when individuals project an image of devoutness and moral integrity, while secretly harboring attitudes or engaging in behaviors that contradict their professed beliefs. This duplicity undermines the authenticity of the relationship with God, as it's built on pretense rather than genuine commitment and transformation. In the Christian tradition, Jesus vehemently condemned hypocrisy, especially among the religious leaders of His time, for misleading others and obstructing the path to true understanding and relationship with God. Matthew 23. The danger of hypocrisy lies not only in its capacity to mislead others, but also in its ability to distance the hypocrite from God. When one's life is marked by a stark gap between public displays of piety and private conduct, it reveals a lack of genuine conversion of heart, a core aspect of the salvation journey. Salvation, in its essence, is transformative, intended to bring about a renewal of mind and spirit that is reflected in one's actions and interactions. Hypocrisy, by maintaining a facade, denies this transformation, keeping the individual in a state of spiritual stagnation. Moreover, hypocrisy can erode the faith community's integrity, leading to disillusionment and mistrust among believers and seekers alike. The witness of a life genuinely transformed by faith is powerful and inviting. In contrast, the witness of hypocrisy can be deeply damaging, turning people away from exploring a deeper relationship with God. Addressing hypocrisy requires rigorous self-examination, honesty, and repentance, a turning away from deceit and a turning toward truth and authenticity. It involves a commitment to align one's inner life with outward expressions of faith, striving for consistency in word and deed. This alignment is not about achieving perfection, but about embracing a journey of continual growth, humility, and transformation under God's guidance. In the broader panorama of divine love and salvation, the challenge of hypocrisy invites us to reflect on the authenticity of our faith journey. Building on the discussion of hypocrisy and its impact on our spiritual journey, we further delve into how divisive behavior can obstruct the path to salvation. Divisiveness within a faith community marked by actions or teachings that foster disunity or conflict not only erodes the bonds of fellowship, but also contradicts the very essence of many spiritual teachings about love, unity, and peace. In the Christian context, the New Testament contains numerous admonitions against causing divisions among believers. The Apostle Paul, for example, stresses the importance of unity within the body of Christ, urging believers to live in harmony with one another, Romans 12-16, and warning against those who cause divisions contrary to the teachings they have learned, Romans 16-17. Such divisiveness not only disrupts the communal aspect of faith, but also hinders personal spiritual growth and the collective witness to the outside world. Divisiveness can stem from various sources, such as doctrinal disputes, personal conflicts, or the pursuit of power and influence within the community. Regardless of its origin, the result is a fracturing of the community that can lead individuals away from the core teachings of love, forgiveness, and reconciliation that are central to the faith. This fracturing not only diminishes the community's strength and witness, but also impedes individuals' ability to fully experience the transformative power of divine love. Addressing divisiveness requires a commitment to the values of understanding, patience, and dialogue. It involves prioritizing the well-being and unity of the community over personal agendas or doctrinal purity. This does not mean suppressing healthy debate or ignoring important issues, but rather approaching disagreements with a spirit of love and mutual respect, seeking common ground and remembering the shared commitment to a higher purpose. Moreover, overcoming divisiveness calls for a focus on the transformative and unifying power of divine love. By anchoring our relationships and interactions in this love, we can begin to heal divisions and build a stronger, more cohesive community. This unity, in turn, becomes a powerful testimony to the world of the faith's transformative impact, drawing others toward the path of salvation. In the grand narrative of divine love and salvation, divisiveness challenges us to reflect on the ways our actions and attitudes might contribute to disunity, and to seek ways to foster a spirit of harmony and peace. By working to overcome divisiveness, we not only strengthen our faith community, but also move closer to the heart of what it means to live out our beliefs in a world in desperate need of reconciliation and hope. Transitioning from the challenges of divisiveness, we approach the crucial barrier of unforgiveness in our journey towards salvation. Unforgiveness, or the refusal to forgive others, poses a significant obstacle not only to personal peace and reconciliation, but also to our spiritual path. This barrier directly impacts our relationship with the divine, as many spiritual teachings emphasize forgiveness as a reflection of divine mercy and love. In the context of Christian teachings, the importance of forgiveness is underscored by Jesus' instruction to forgive others, linking it to the forgiveness that one receives from God. Matthew 6, and 14 to 15. This connection highlights a profound principle. The act of forgiving others is not only a moral duty, but a vital component of one's spiritual health and relationship with God. Unforgiveness harbors resentment and bitterness, emotions that can corrode the soul and obstruct the flow of divine grace. The refusal to forgive can stem from deep wounds and injustices suffered, making the process of forgiveness challenging and complex. However, forgiveness is not about condoning wrong or denying pain. Rather, it's an act of will to release oneself from the grip of past hurts and to open the way for healing and reconciliation. This act of will can sometimes be a journey requiring time, prayer, and sometimes the support of a faith community or counseling. Forgiveness also extends beyond personal healing, influencing the fabric of the community. A community characterized by a willingness to forgive reflects the principles of compassion, mercy, and understanding, fostering an environment where spiritual growth can flourish. Conversely, a community where unforgiveness prevails can become fragmented, with its members locked in cycles of resentment and conflict. Addressing the barrier of unforgiveness involves acknowledging the hurt, seeking divine assistance in the process of forgiveness, and making a conscious decision to let go of resentment. It may also involve seeking reconciliation with the person or people involved when possible and appropriate. Following the exploration of unforgiveness, we delve into the nuanced obstacle of rejecting divine mercy, a barrier that fundamentally alters our relationship with the path to salvation. This rejection is often rooted in misconceptions about the nature of divine love and justice, leading some to believe they are either unworthy of such mercy or that they can achieve salvation through their own efforts alone. Rejecting divine mercy can manifest in various ways, including a refusal to accept that one is in need of forgiveness, a belief in self-sufficiency that dismisses the necessity of divine grace, or a misunderstanding of divine justice that views mercy as incompatible with justice. This rejection is particularly poignant because it overlooks the essence of many spiritual teachings, that divine mercy is not earned but generously given, reflecting the boundless love of the divine for humanity. In Christian theology, the concept of grace, unmerited favor from God, is central. Salvation is presented not as a reward for good deeds, but as a gift of grace through faith in Jesus Christ. Ephesians 2:8-9. This underscores that no amount of personal effort can secure salvation. It is instead a matter of accepting the gift of divine mercy. Thus, rejecting this mercy is tantamount to turning away from the very means of salvation offered to humanity. The implications of rejecting divine mercy extend beyond individual spirituality to affect the broader community. It can lead to legalism, judgmental attitudes, and a lack of compassion, as individuals and groups focus more on earning salvation through deeds rather than embodying the love and mercy that should characterize their faith. This mindset can alienate others and create an environment where mercy and grace are undervalued. To overcome this barrier, a shift in understanding is required, a movement from seeing salvation as something to be earned to viewing it as a gift to be received with humility and gratitude. This involves recognizing one's limitations and the need for divine intervention in the process of salvation. It also means embracing a more compassionate and grace-filled approach to one's faith journey, acknowledging that mercy is extended to all, and striving to reflect this mercy in one's own life. Engaging with the concept of divine mercy invites us into a deeper relationship with the divine, characterized by gratitude, humility, and a profound recognition of our need for grace. It challenges us to live out the implications of this mercy in our interactions with others, promoting a culture of forgiveness, compassion, and love. In doing so, we not only move closer to overcoming the barrier of rejecting divine mercy, but also contribute to the creation of a more merciful and grace-filled world, aligning ourselves more fully with the path to salvation. Advancing from the contemplation of rejecting divine mercy, we encounter the barrier of idolatry, which, in its essence, is the elevation of anything above the divine. Idolatry not only diverts reverence and devotion meant for the divine, but also fundamentally misaligns one's values and priorities, distancing individuals from the spiritual path leading to salvation. Idolatry, in the modern context, isn't limited to the worship of physical idols. It extends to anything that occupies the place in our lives that should be reserved for the divine. This could be material wealth, power, status, or even relationships and personal achievements. When these elements become the center of our existence, they usurp the role and reverence that should be attributed to the divine, leading to a disconnection from spiritual truths and priorities. This misplacement of devotion fundamentally disrupts the relationship with the divine, as it shifts the focus and dependence away from the source of ultimate love and truth. The spiritual journey toward salvation is, at its core, a process of aligning one's heart and will with the divine. Idolatry, by redirecting this alignment towards transient and often unworthy objects of devotion, obstructs this crucial process. The challenge idolatry poses to the community and personal faith is profound. It can lead to a culture of materialism, selfishness, and superficial values, undermining the spiritual and moral foundations of the community. The pursuit of and devotion to these idols can lead to neglect of spiritual disciplines, ethical principles, and the welfare of others, all of which are essential components of a life oriented towards salvation. Overcoming idolatry requires a deliberate reorientation of our hearts and minds. It involves recognizing the transient nature of material and earthly pursuits and understanding the incomparable value of a deep, personal relationship with the divine. This reorientation is not a one-time event, but a continuous process of self-examination, prayer, and realignment of our priorities and actions with our spiritual beliefs. Moving forward from the contemplation of idolatry, we approach the barrier of doubting core mysteries or truths of faith. This form of skepticism can create a significant rift between an individual and the spiritual enlightenment that forms the essence of salvation. Doubt in this context isn't merely questioning or seeking to understand one's faith more deeply, which can be a part of healthy spiritual growth, but rather a persistent disbelief in the foundational tenets that provide the bedrock for one's spiritual journey. Faith traditions often have core beliefs that are considered mysteries or truths beyond full human comprehension. These may include concepts of divine love, grace, the nature of the divine afterlife, and the purpose of existence, among others. While it's natural to grapple with these ideas, an outright rejection or persistent doubt of these core principles can lead to a disconnect from the faith community and the spiritual path it offers. This barrier is particularly challenging because it touches on the very essence of faith, a trust or confidence in what one cannot see or fully understand. Hebrews 11:1. When doubt in these core mysteries becomes predominant, it can stifle spiritual growth and block the pathway to experiencing the transformative power of faith. This transformation is often described as a journey from darkness to light, from confusion to clarity, and from despair to hope. The impact of such doubt extends beyond the individual, potentially influencing others within the community. It can lead to an environment of skepticism and cynicism, undermining the communal sense of purpose and the shared journey towards deeper understanding and connection with the divine. Overcoming this barrier often involves embracing faith as a journey. recognizing that understanding and belief can coexist with questions and uncertainties. It calls for engagement with the community, spiritual leaders, and sacred texts to explore these doubts openly and constructively. This process can strengthen faith as it encourages a deeper dive into the reasons behind these core beliefs and their relevance to one's life and the world. Moreover, many find that acts of service, prayer, and meditation can facilitate a personal experience of the divine that transcends intellectual doubts. These practices can offer a sense of connection and assurance that supports faith in the face of unanswered questions. In essence, addressing the challenge of doubting core mysteries invites a balanced approach that values both the quest for understanding and the acceptance of mystery. By navigating this delicate balance, individuals can continue on their spiritual journey, enriched by a faith that is both thoughtful and deeply felt, ultimately leading closer to the fulfillment and salvation that lies at the heart of their spiritual quest. Progressing from the challenge of doubting core mysteries, we encounter the barrier of willful ignorance. This refers to an intentional avoidance of engaging with one's faith deeply or seeking a greater understanding of its teachings and principles. Unlike simple unawareness, willful ignorance signifies a conscious choice to remain unenlightened about the spiritual path, which can significantly impede one's journey toward salvation. Willful ignorance can manifest in various ways, such as neglecting to explore the scriptures or teachings of one's faith, disregarding the importance of communal worship and spiritual disciplines, or choosing to live in a manner that contradicts the ethical and moral guidelines of the faith. This deliberate disengagement not only stalls personal spiritual growth but can also weaken the faith, community's collective spiritual vitality, and its ability to serve as a source of light and guidance in the world. The implications of choosing to remain ignorant are profound. Without a deep and evolving understanding of one's faith, an individual is likely to miss out on the rich insights and transformative experiences that it offers. This can lead to a superficial practice of faith that lacks depth and resilience, making it difficult to navigate life's challenges in a way that aligns with spiritual principles. Moreover, willful ignorance can contribute to a disconnect between faith and daily life, where the principles and values of the faith do not inform one's decisions and actions. This disconnect not only diminishes the individual's spiritual journey, but can also lead to behaviors that undermine the well-being of others and the integrity of the creation. Contrary to many faith's teachings about compassion, justice, and stewardship. Overcoming willful ignorance requires a conscious decision to engage actively with one's faith. This involves regular study of sacred texts, participation in communal worship and prayer, and the practice of spiritual disciplines that foster a deeper connection with the divine. Building on the momentum of overcoming willful ignorance, we arrive at a nuanced understanding of the role of spiritual complacency, a state of self-satisfaction with one's spiritual progress that prevents further growth. This complacency is subtly dangerous because it masquerades as fulfillment, leaving individuals unaware of the deeper levels of spiritual maturity and understanding that await them beyond their current state. Spiritual complacency often stems from a belief that one has reached a sufficient level of spiritual achievement or understanding. This belief can lead to a stagnation in spiritual practices, a lack of openness to new insights, and a diminished effort in fostering one's relationship with the divine. As a result, individuals may find themselves disconnected from the dynamic, evolving journey that characterizes a deepening spiritual life. They miss out on the profound changes in perspective and heart that come with continued spiritual exploration and growth. The danger of spiritual complacency lies not only in the halt it brings to personal growth, but also in its impact on the community. Complacent individuals can contribute to a culture of spiritual lethargy within their faith communities, dampening the collective zeal for deeper understanding and expression of faith. This can lead to communities that are resistant to change, lacking in vibrancy, and unable to effectively respond to the spiritual needs of their members and the broader society. Overcoming spiritual complacency requires a renewal of curiosity and humility in one's spiritual journey. It involves recognizing that spiritual growth is an ongoing process with infinite depths of wisdom and understanding to explore. This recognition can inspire a renewed commitment to spiritual practices, a willingness to question and learn, and an openness to transformation. Engaging with spiritual mentors, participating in diverse forms of worship and spiritual study, and seeking opportunities for service can reinvigorate one's spiritual journey. These practices help to break the cycle of complacency by exposing individuals to new perspectives and challenges that stimulate growth. Additionally, fostering an attitude of gratitude for the journey itself, rather than focusing solely on spiritual achievements, can shift one's focus from self-satisfaction to a continuous quest for deeper connection and understanding. As we address the challenge of spiritual complacency, we discover that the path to salvation is not static but dynamic, inviting us into an ever-deepening relationship with the divine. This path calls us to move beyond contentment with our current state, encouraging us to embrace the journey with all its uncertainties and opportunities for growth. By doing so, we not only enrich our own spiritual lives, but also contribute to the vitality and depth of our faith communities, paving the way for a more profound collective experience of the divine. Advancing from the reflection on spiritual complacency, we encounter the final barrier, a lack of community engagement. This hurdle highlights the significance of communal support, learning, and worship in the spiritual journey towards salvation. Faith, while personal, flourishes within the context of a community. The lack of engagement with a faith community not only isolates individuals, but can also impede their spiritual growth and understanding. Community plays a critical role in the spiritual life for several reasons. First, it provides a support system for individuals as they navigate their spiritual journeys, offering guidance, encouragement, and accountability. The shared experiences of worship, study, and service foster a sense of belonging and purpose that can be profoundly transformative. Second, the community acts as a living repository of faith, tradition, and wisdom, offering diverse perspectives and insights that enrich an individual's understanding and practice of their faith. Finally, engaging in communal activities, such as service projects and outreach efforts, enables individuals to live out the tenets of their faith in practical, impactful ways. The absence of community engagement can lead to a spiritual journey that is insulated and narrow, lacking the richness and depth that come from shared experience and collective wisdom. Without the challenges and insights that arise from engaging with others, personal faith can become static and untested, lacking the dynamism and resilience that are fostered through communal interaction. Overcoming this barrier involves intentional participation in the life of the faith community. This can take many forms, from regular attendance at worship services to involvement in study groups, service projects, and social events. It means opening oneself to the influence and inspiration of others, contributing one's own gifts and insights, and participating in the collective effort to embody the principles of the faith in the world. Having traversed the landscape of personal and communal barriers to salvation, including the critical aspect of community engagement, we reach a juncture that beckons us to integrate and apply our insights. This integration not only deepens our personal spiritual journey, but also enhances our contribution to the collective spiritual welfare. the journey does not conclude with overcoming individual barriers. It extends into a continuous process of growth, service, and transformation within the community. True spiritual fulfillment and salvation are found not in isolation, but in the rich tapestry of relationships, shared struggles, and collective victories that define our engagement with our faith community. The next step involves active participation in creating a community that reflects the principles of our faith. This means fostering environments of acceptance, support, and challenge that enable all members to grow. It involves contributing our unique gifts and talents to the community's life, whether through leadership, service, mentorship, or simply presence and participation. Moreover, as we engage more deeply with our community, we're called to extend the reach of our faith beyond its boundaries. This extension involves service and outreach that embody the love, compassion, and justice central to many faith traditions. It's about putting our faith into action in ways that address the needs of the wider society and the world, thus witnessing to the transformative power of the spiritual path we follow. This integrated approach to overcoming barriers and engaging with our community also involves a commitment to continual learning and adaptation. As our world changes, so too do the challenges it presents to individuals and communities of faith. Staying open to new insights, willing to adapt practices, and eager to embrace innovations that foster growth and understanding are crucial for a living, vibrant faith that resonates in the contemporary world. We see that the journey towards salvation is not just an ascent we undertake in solitude, but a pilgrimage we share with others, reflecting the interconnectedness of our spiritual lives. As we continue to integrate our insights and engage with our community, we realize that the very act of walking together in faith enriches us, teaching us about love, resilience, and the diversity of divine expression among us. This shared pilgrimage encourages us to look beyond the boundaries of our own experiences, inviting us to understand and empathize with the struggles and triumphs of others. In doing so, we uncover the profound truth that our own salvation is deeply intertwined with the salvation of the community. The well-being of the I is inseparable from the well-being of the we. And in this mutual journey, every act of kindness, every gesture of understanding, and every effort to support one another adds to the collective reservoir of spiritual strength and grace. Moreover, as we navigate this journey, we're reminded of the importance of reflection and celebration. Reflection allows us to recognize how far we've come, the barriers we've overcome, and the lessons we've learned along the way. Celebration, on the other hand, is an acknowledgement of our collective achievements, a way to express gratitude for the divine guidance we've received, and a moment to reinforce our communal bonds. These practices not only nurture our spiritual growth, but also reinforce our commitment to the journey ahead. As our path unfolds, we are also called to mentorship and sharing the wisdom we've gained. By guiding others as they encounter their own barriers and questions, we pay forward the support and insight we've received. This cycle of mentoring enriches the community, ensuring that the wisdom of the journey is preserved and accessible for future generations. It creates a legacy of spiritual depth and understanding that transcends individual lifetimes, contributing to a lasting foundation of faith and resilience. Ultimately, the journey towards salvation, enriched by overcoming personal barriers, deep community engagement, and the shared pilgrimage of faith, cultivates a spiritual ecosystem that thrives on mutual support, learning, and love. It's a dynamic process that continually evolves, reflecting the ever-changing nature of our lives and the world around us. By participating fully in this journey, we contribute to a living faith that not only guides us towards salvation, but also transforms the world in its divine image. Thus, as we move forward, let us do so with hearts open to the transformative power of this journey, hands ready to support one another and spirits willing to embrace the challenges and joys that lie ahead. In this way, our pilgrimage toward salvation becomes a beacon of hope, love, and divine presence in the world, a testament to the enduring power of faith in action.